Well, welcome everybody back to the Flying Doghouse. I'm just having a fly in this C-130H tonight and thought I would stream it as I make my way up from Charleston Air Force Base to Dover. We are chugging along. This is an early morning departure out of Charleston. It's been a minute since I've flown this, so I thought, why not? At least it'll give me a little bit of an excuse to be disciplined as I go about this tonight. Anyway, this is the Captain Sim C-130H. And we are doing the stream in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And we are making our way northbound. All right, so somewhat similar to the stream last evening. We were making our way to the north. Be passing over Wilmington, not too far from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and then we'll be making our way up across Virginia and then into Delaware. Probably about a 2-hour flight beginning to end, but I started the stream a little later. So there's that. Yeah, this particular aircraft was all the rage with my group flight friends for quite some time, and folks have moved on to other pastures. But this is still one of my faves. I don't spend enough time flying it. There's not enough time to fly everything that I have anyway. So there's that. Yeah, so one of the things I'm really curious about is folks' reaction to Microsoft's announcement around releasing Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 for the PlayStation 5. I've got a video coming out soon, but I'm curious. I may not be unique. I do have some mixed emotions about it for sure. I'm not sure why you add yet another platform when the product itself is still, I don't know. It is certainly better, but feels like deja vu all over again. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think we'll endeavor to gain some altitude here. Get the plane trimmed out here a little better. And we will continue to make our way. All right, so this is not our East Coast trip. So this is just a just for the heck of it. Jump outside the plane here. So this is Captain Sim again, C-130. There's a H and a J variant that I have in my inventory. And it does look like we are losing some frames tonight. Lots of people on the interweb. Or it's my gaming son also sharing the bandwidth for tonight. Anyway, we're just making our way. We're using the Alaska U.S. Air Force livery here in the C-130. I guess probably 5 or 6 months ago when I got this aircraft, we also did a how to drop cargo sort of demonstration too, and that video's out. So if you're interested in this plane, check that one out. That one continues to get quite a few views. Hello, welcome if you're joining the live stream. We are making our way from Charleston Air Force Base tonight up to Dover. We're having a fly in the Captain Sim C-130H. So we're making our way up the eastern seaboard here. We're probably a good, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes into the flight now. I think we're closing in on Jacksonville, North Carolina. We're just continuing to make our way. So this one continues to be a favorite. So if you've heard negative things or read negative things or had a negative experience with Captain Sim with earlier versions of releases for 2020, I would suggest you lay those aside and check this aircraft out. It's quite good. We have done quite a few group flights over on Virtual Flight Online in this aircraft, and a number of videos from me as well. But this one may be the first video I have done on this aircraft since I've upgraded my my hardware. It's a lot of fun to fly. You will enjoy. And get ourselves here in straight and level flight here. So I do have the autopilot on. We will just chug along. I think that Say Intentions may have just released an official announcement about their streaming of traffic. I have to check that out on my tablet. Let's see. Did I read that correctly? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I was in a dream state. Yeah, at any rate. Okay, let's check in and see how we're doing. And we have deviated a bit from our magenta line, our planned route, but that's okay. This will take us up over the top of Cherry Point Naval Air Station. And we can just continue to make our way up the coast. It's all good. And I am not using Say Intentions tonight, just to take a break from that. I wonder. Yeah, we're currently at 7,500 feet, and we're knocking along at 277. We took off from Charleston Air Force Base a little while ago, and we are now up into North Carolina. And we're probably maybe 35 nautical miles from Cherry Point Naval Air Station at this point. Making our way up to Dover. So we'll turn more to a northerly track here in just a bit. Interesting weather day here in the Carolinas today. Anticipating some tropical rain in the short term. Particularly the eastern part of North and South Carolina. Let's we're about a 4-degree left turn here. We'll make a little gentle adjustment in our course. We've got a long way to go, and I am not in a hurry. So we'll probably maintain a bearing to take us now up over the top of Virginia Beach and Norfolk. So this will be through the Sand Hills region of North Carolina here. And we are not too far from the Pamlico Sound. And I am going to keep this turn coming for another couple of minutes. And we'll jump back in the plane and continue to make our adjustment. All right, that'll get us centered again. This will put us straight up over the top of Norfolk, so we're good to go. Continue to enjoy the scenery. With a general lack of commentary for tonight. Just chug our way along here. Yeah, I'm really curious as to what people are thinking about the release of the product in on the PlayStation. I'll throw a post up in the comment section on the live stream. I mean, I'm very excited that the sim community will have another opportunity to grow and add folks who have that particular hardware platform. I'm not plussed at the level of work that seems to be laying on the table. with respect to 2024 on the Xbox and also the PC. But that's just me. Or maybe it's not. I think after I got my video in the can, I noticed that Simhanger Mark had published his thoughts too. And I don't know that mine are much different than his. Happy to see the sim community grow for sure. But as I said in that earlier video that has not been published yet, I'll say it here. It just feels like another money grab to me. But again, that is also just my opinion. And instead of dividing resources between two versions on the Xbox and the PC, we're now going to divide at least one of those releases on PlayStation as well. So it's just, you know, division of resource. I guess if they staff appropriately, it may work out for Microsoft. It might end up being a good thing. However, it does grind my gears a bit. It looks like for the PlayStation folks, the new subscribers, they're getting a free aircraft for early sign up. And the pricing structures seem to be the same across all the platforms. You won't have to have an Xbox account, obviously, for a PlayStation. And I'm going to anticipate that multiplayer will just work the same way. But I guess that remains to be seen as well. At any rate, looks like it was a December targeted release for public. Preview subscriptions, I think, get it earlier, but I don't remember the specific date off the top of my head. All right, let's see. So right now we are between New Bern and Elizabeth City in eastern North Carolina, making our way up. And this would be the entrance to the Pamlico here to our 3 o'clock. And this would be the Pamlico River. So there you go. Yeah, the Pamlico Sound is a very large body of water between the Outer Banks and then I would guess I call the inner coast of the state. Some of this is military restricted airspace as well, so there's flight training ranges that are here with their altitude restrictions and such. I am not doing ATC comms tonight. This is more of a just for the heck of it. And to give folks an opportunity, if you don't have the C-130H, to see what it looks like, see what the cockpit looks like, see how it handles with, I guess, me at the controls. And one of the things I have downloaded recently on Flightsim.to is Elizabeth City. There's a Coast Guard station there, so there's a scenery pack that is available for free that adds some of those Coast Guard-y kinds of things to that particular airfield. And that's actually one of the largest Coast Guard bases, I think, on the east coast of the U.S. It is fairly significant. Oh. And we'll use autopilot here to make another turn. Go a little bit harder left this time. Make our way up into the Chesapeake. So I think one of the things we'll do on the channel is, you know, since Microsoft has released the that Japan update, I think we ought to go check that out. I've been thinking about buying that commercial aviation turboprop that was just released as the local legend. If you have that, drop a note in the comments and let me know what you think of it. Otherwise, we'll find some Japanese Defense Force liveries to hang on the side of a bird and have a fly and take a look at some of the scenery updates they've made. And if memory serves me, I think that update is also available in 2020 as well as 2020. How are we doing? Oh, we're continuing to turn. I'm gabbing and not aviating here. All right, back in the plane we go. Let's let's steer back to the right for a bit. All right, time-wise, we're now mid-morning. And I think I've got live weather turned on. Obviously, it's not live time because it's dark 30 here. It's 10:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as of this recording. I'm just using this flight as an opportunity to just kick back and relax and enjoy some flying for today. Traffic. Traffic. All right, back inside the plane. Let's get our control knob recentered here. And right now, I don't have nameplates turned on. And I've got all of the instrumentation stuff from the external view turned off for tonight as well. Left it on in the cockpit just for grins and giggles and consistency's sake. But you can see some of the texturing work that was done by Captain Sim on the aircraft. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. It flies very, very nicely. There are lots of things to do and see. There's a clipboard that's our electronic flight bag controller kind of apparatus for this particular bird. There are a number of things that you can turn on or turn off in the ground. So see some of those choices here. Quick access to being able to open the paratroop doors and the ramp, if you are so inclined to do that, along with removing chocks and all those other fun things. You can see that this has gotten scrapes and scratches and bumps and some rust and a well lived in look and feel here, as you would expect, with lots and lots of analog gauges, which just makes my heart feel good. All right, we continue to here's the navigator station in the back. The wall of breakers, and again, not everything in this aircraft is modeled, so it's definitely not full fidelity, as you can see. Some of these are non-functional, but visual. And for me, that's just fine. Okay, we're continuing to operate here at 7,300 feet, airspeed 278. We're not fooling with comms and ATC tonight. We're just having a go. I think on Monday night we will resume with our East Coast cross country tour. We'll be back in the Cessna 414. And we'll make our way out of Wilmington to the north. And we'll be covering some of the same ground. So that particular flight leg we'll either do Wilmington to Ocracoke or the first flight and stop there. Then the following leg would then be from first flight up to Norfolk, Newport News, somewhere in that vicinity, or Williamsburg in Virginia. And that should carry us into the end of the week next week. So that would put us well into the, I guess, the 50% mark. We're making our way up the coastline from Key West. And if you have another aircraft that you would like to see us use, again, at the beginning of the series, I mentioned that I'm predominantly going to use the Cessna 414, but I'm certainly open to your suggestions in terms of what else, in terms of shaking that down and using that the aircraft with, say, intentions. Well, it looks like right now our stream status is not particularly having a good moment. And as I say that, it switched back to excellent. So, at any rate, it's kind of a part of it. It's going to vary from time frame to time frame. Pretty much this whole week, I've had very good luck as far as connections are concerned. Get myself come off of the intro panel at the beginning of the flight instead of 5 or 10 minutes in. That would definitely be an improvement. So apologies to those of you who were watching the live streams and have put up with that for a couple of flights. As I have said 10,000 times before, the world has a way of humbling you. Yeah, at any rate, some nice puffy clouds in the sky for the trip. What do we got? Let's see what winds aloft happen to be. 282 at 4. A little bit of a crosswind. So I think we can let's change heading here a little bit. I'm continuing to use some of the controls in the aircraft just so you can see some of those in action. Start a slight right-hand turn here. As we continue to make our way. have a quick look here at little nav map and see the what. We're coming up on the James River and Hampton Roads and Newport News. And let's go ahead and get ourselves recentered here. Oh, I haven't plugged this tonight. So we are doing a group flight tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time or 1900 UTC. We are in Tasmania. So we're going to the land under down under. Take a bit of a geographical appreciation tour of Tasmania. So I'm looking forward to hosting that. And if you would like to come along for the journey, information about that flight is available over on Virtual Flight Online. And I would invite you to check out the events calendar. We do a number of group flights every week. And we have lots of folks in the community who regularly contribute in terms of that flight planning and hosting, and it's just a lot of fun. If you've never done a group flight before, I don't think you could pick a better group of folks to try the journey out, to be honest. All right, so we are coming up on Williamsburg. Once we get over the James River. But we do have ourselves on a good heading to make our way into Dover. So we'll continue across the Chesapeake into Delaware. And we'll finish up our East Coast late night flight. I'm probably going to guess another 59 minutes or so. And if you're watching the replay of the live stream, thanks for tuning in. We are not doing our East Coast cross country flight. This is really just for the heck of it in the C-130H. And we are flying tonight from Charleston Air Force Base to Dover Air Force Base in the C-130. So we do have our Coronado 172 review video that's up and out. I invite you to check that out if you're into general aviation aircraft. That is a mid-1950s version of the Cessna 172. It's the vertical tail design, complete with wheel fairings, or what I like to call wheel shoes. Anyway, it's a lot of fun to fly. It's very well done, and I think some folks like to give Coronado flack about, not every little nook and cranny being fully modeled and detailed, but that aircraft is quite fun. It does have some unique handling characteristics that makes it different enough, at least for me, from the Cessna 170B that I also have from them, which I think is also an excellent aircraft for it just to be a good addition to the hangar. In addition to the look and feel, there are 8 liveries I think that are included in that, and they've done a good job with it. I love that mid-1950s cockpit and the upholstery and all of the gunk and grime and this vintage style controls and knobs in the aircraft just make it charming. So if you're looking for another general aviation aircraft, I want to go check that out. The other aircraft that we're going to take a look at in coming days would be the Grumman Albatross. That's included in the deluxe edition and higher in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. It's one that I, quite frankly, didn't pay any attention to at all, because I believe that was included in the original standard version release. Anyway, we've checked it out. We've recorded the video, and if you're looking for an amphibious plane, I think you will enjoy it. And some of the cockpit characteristics of that particular aircraft are going to be reminiscent of what you would see in the Goose. Excuse me. At any rate, it is a lot of fun to fly. What I am wishing for is anyone, to build us an aircraft carrier pack for World War II era. We've got quite a few aircraft now in the sim that are of that era and ilk. And I think it would be great fun to have a go in the F4F and the F6F and the Corsair in 2024. So there was, I guess the Lexington was done for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, but that is not compatible and not going to be rebuilt to be compatible with Flight Sim 2024. So I have used that some in 2020. But right now, nothing forthcoming. And I'm also still waiting on the release of the B-17. Looking forward to that when it hits the market. And we will just go from there. Okay, we are crossing into the Chesapeake here. We are not going to make our way over the Washington, D.C. area. We're going to bypass that on this particular flight. And we're going to head across the Chesapeake over into Delaware and then make our approach and landing at Dover. And there is downloadable scenery for the PC available over on Flightsim.to for Charleston Air Force Base and also Dover. And if you don't have those in your inventory, they're well worth the download and the install. But they are not going to be available for the Xbox. And I guess I'll have to get used to also talking about that with the PlayStation. So there we go. Continue to make our way across. Still at 7,000 feet. Airspeed 278. We are making our way. And it does look like our stream health is back to normal. And once we're done with the live stream, I'll go back and add some links to this particular post, so you can go grab Dover and also Charleston Air Force Base if you so choose. If you're watching this live, we are now at 11:08 p.m. on the East Coast in the U.S. It does look like we've got some boat traffic down here in the Chesapeake. Make our way across. And when this flight is over, it will be time to hit the rack. I also have a scenery update video review that will be released soon. So really there as a supporting item of interest for the MH-60's Jayhawk variant. So Elizabeth City Coast Guard Station has been customized a bit to add some Coast Guard kinds of things here in the U.S. So take a look at that and have a flight across over to First Flight. Any excuse to fly that MH-60 is a good excuse. If you haven't tried helicopters, I mean, I avoided them for quite a long time in the sim, but I have really enjoyed that new experience, and definitely part of my interest in the hobby. So, if you haven't tried it, I'm gonna give it a shot. The MH-60 is terrific, as is the Chinook. Excuse me. And again, we are on a good bearing over to Dover, continuing at 7,100 feet. Winds now 283 at 4. Nice puffy clouds to take a look at on the trip across. Started out this evening in Charleston, South Carolina, at Charleston Air Force Base / Charleston International Airport. Now we're just making our way over to Dover. I can't remember if I remembered to turn on the scenery at Dover or not. So if it looks plain, it's my fault. So typically you would see a lot of airlift kinds of airframes sitting on the ground in Dover. And it's been a minute since I've flown the 130, so we'll coax our way in on approach and landing. Okay, right now we are still in Maryland, but rapidly closing in on Delaware. Doo-doo-doo. We are continuing to make our way over to Kilo Delta Oscar Victor. We are flying the Alaska Air National Guard livery tonight. You're using that little mini joystick, making me get seasick here. A head-on view of the 130. And once college football season is over with, we'll be doing a few historic flight series again. Got some flights that I'm looking forward to doing in the DC-3. So we're going to go back and look at Delta Airlines' 1948 travel schedule. And we are going to jump in the DC-3 and have a bit of a fly there. So we have some interesting legs to fly with that. So those will be on Saturdays at, I guess we'll be into time change then. It'll be 2000 UTC. So we'll get going on those in November. And we've also done a couple of Warbird flights on Sunday. Try that again. On Wednesday evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll continue those as we can, mixing those in around work schedule. A couple of those I've had to postpone just because of family stuff that we've needed to address, deal with, / life happens. And it might be fun to do a C-130 flight in the J variant. We can jump in the Blue Angels Fat Albert livery and have a flyer down and around the Florida Panhandle. Pensacola-ish. That might be fun as well. So we'll get that scheduled at some point. Okay, let's see. Let's check in again. Yeah, we are making some pretty good time now. We're probably about 50 miles out. We can. quick instrument scan here. All right, let's come off of autopilot here and take back the airplane. Earn that paycheck. Maybe being a little bit too aggressive for the aircrew. Rated descent. That should certainly be more comfortable. All right, I think we've got our altitude now better managed here, so we're at about the right altitude to get to the feathers here at Dover. Oh. Which will be happening soon. That looks like a horse racetrack at Dover Downs. I'd be interested in knowing what that is. Okay, so runways at Dover 32 and 19 and 01 and 14. We're doing an inventory of squirrels. Terrain appreciation tour action going on. Okay. We're now at the end of the feathers here. I'm going to grab a little bit more altitude here for our approach in. I'm going to nose up and burn off some airspeed here too. I'm so used to now flying with say intentions, I'm feeling guilty about not talking to air traffic control. But that's okay. All right. Gear coming down. And we'll get our situation situated here. And off the top of my head, I don't remember the lengths of the runways. I think the longest was about 13,000 feet. All right, we're at 1,700. I'm continuing to progress my way down through flaps. We do have our gear deployed. We won't land on the taxiway, I promise. And what I don't need them for this particular landing, but I don't have the reversers set up for a throttle. If I need thrust reversers here, I think I've got an issue. All right, we got the barn doors out here now. All right, we got peppy lights looking good-ish. Maybe our hair high. That is okay. Set her down here. There we go. Welcome to Dover. Get her woed up here. All right. I think we're good. If you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, comment. All those fun things help out the channel to continue to grow. We appreciate it. Thanks for being along for the live stream or watching the live stream replay. We have concluded our flight here in the C-130H from Captain Sim, and we are a wrap here at Dover. As always, I hope everybody is keeping well. And until next time, cheers, y'all.